You're now listening to Cashin' Up with Big Wig LTD.
What up? It's the whale scale Big Wig, all about his business, you know what I'm saying? The Fat Cat, aka the Reno Ace. And we're here with another episode of Cashin' Up. And today we got a very special guest. You may have seen his art cruising down the strip, you know what I'm saying? You're 6'4", down the, down by the Reno Arch and shit. His psychedelic art stands out when you go down there. I know you've seen it. So we here with the man, the myth, the legend, Ironhead Art. What's good with you, bro?
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Thank you. First time ever being on a podcast.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Well, I love that. I love your art. So I think we first met, we ran into each other at Winco that one time.
Yeah.
We were just shopping around and shit. But I think I did some content at I had like a song called Tab, and it's like an acid song, whatever, and fucking... You came, you had that mural downtown that I always was like, yo, that shit's sick. And I see a lot of people like posting it and shit like that. But like, so I think that's how we found each other, like on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds about right.
And so I was just curious, like, how did you get that opportunity to get that mural like right there on the strip?
Oh, man, so I guess it kind of started with I painted an electrical box. I don't know if you've seen those electrical boxes around town that the artists get commissioned to do.
Yep.
I did one of those, and so after I did that, I was like, dude, I love painting outside and decorating the city. And so I was just like constantly trying to manifest a wall for myself. And a year had gone by, and I just remember feeling kind of discouraged because I was like, dude, I don't even know what to do, like how to get this.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like an old collector of mine messages me on Instagram and was like, hey, are you interested in doing a mural? Like I have this idea for you downtown, and was wondering if you'd be interested in talking about it. And I was like pinching myself, like almost slapping myself, like did this just happen? And so he's like, well, can you have a meeting with me? And he sent me an appointment. And I went down there and talked to him, and they ended up taking me to the site where they wanted the murals, and we discussed, business and I guess a design. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, holy crap, like I'm about to just paint this wall. And I was just wondering so much how I was going to do it. And then after a while, it just came to me. And so I tell people it was a manifestation because it literally just came out of nowhere when I really, really had been wanting it for so long. So I feel so blessed.
Right. So you said as a manifestation. So what were you doing, besides just like thinking about it or whatever? You have to feel like when you do manifest stuff, you kind of do have to do specific actions to try to get where you want to go as well. So like, was there anything you were doing that like you feel like may have helped you get there to be prepared for it?
I guess I was just like taking some more time to admire all the other artists who had gotten opportunities around town and really just like seeing like the scale that they're working at. And I just, something I tell all artists if they want to like level up in what they're doing is if you just focus on what you're doing and keep creating, like the magic will present itself. You're not exactly sure when or how the hell it's going to happen, but you just keep creating and you just keep doing it because you love to do it. And you step out of your comfort zone to try new things. And I guess I just kept painting. I didn't know how else to do it besides as far as like maybe looking for the scale to do it at, but I just love working on big paintings. And so I just kept painting big canvases and just kept like visualizing in my head that if these other artists get these opportunities, I can too. Right. And before I knew it, it was there. And then I was doing 2 of them.
Nice.
Back to back.
Right. That's awesome. I could totally relate to that. Like doing the thing you do, like if you just do it consistently, like all the time, you'll just develop your craft a lot faster than if you just like do it here and there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's totally a given. And you could just get into like different bags with it too. Like you'll get into different, depending on, the art form, you'll evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like, so did you have any like experience with like walls work before, or were you just strictly canvas or?
I mean, I guess I had my moments as a teenager, like doing the whole graffiti thing, I guess, stuff like that. But it wasn't really that much. Like I was more into like the black book thing as far as graph goes. But I don't even really have good can control. I can spray paint some stencils that I've made or maybe add some effects to a canvas, but I really don't. Like I've painted wood and I've painted canvas and I've painted metal before, I guess. But besides that, no, I haven't really painted walls. But now I'm like addicted. Like I want to paint walls.
Right.
Like I love painting outside. I love painting big things, and I also like money. And so all three of those things really just go along with murals to me. And so I felt like it seems like a solid thing that an artist can actually make a decent living off of, painting like bigger job murals and stuff like that. And so it kind of gave me some more, I guess, hope, for lack of a better word, that this career that I want to eventually get to actually is possible.
Right.
It kind of gave me some more reassurance, I guess is another way to put it.
Right. Do you have any like any goals with it? Like any goals with your art, or like where you'd like to be in, like, I don't know, 5 years or something like that?
I mean, I would for sure like to be self-employed, but I'd like to be able to take the leap knowing that I really got something rolling. Like I don't really want to start and feel like I got to start building these steps from ground zero. Like I actually feel like I want to have some flow and momentum going. So when I take this leap, I'm just going to keep running, instead of just like actually having to stop and think about it for a second. I'm sure I'll have to stop and think a little bit, but I don't want to come to a complete stop. Be like, oh shit, like what am I going to do now to make this happen? Like I want to be able to have some things already in flow, and that way I can just keep growing whatever those things are. Like I would like to eventually have a storefront, I guess, with like, this is like my second shirt that I've ever had. I'd like to have more tapestries. I used to tell people I'd like to have my art like Ed Hardy almost, where I just got on like every freaking thing that I can get it on. And I would really like to have that. I would really like to travel around and paint some walls. Those are goals that I really would like to have. I also really enjoy mining. Something I've always wanted to get into besides doing art is also like gem cutting, kind of like how this centerpiece inside my pennant here, like really fancy stuff. I also mine this crystal, but I thought it would be really cool to be able to spend some time in nature and mine, and also cut some stones during different parts of the year, and kind of just give me more avenues of entrepreneur and ways of income, I guess. So I guess I just want to be able to always stay busy. I don't really plan on retiring. I want to be able to do these things when I'm older, So I guess besides doing art, I just really want to be full-time doing what I love to do, whether if it's doing art or if it's mining or, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's
Heard
what I'm
that.
going towards.
Well, speaking of that, you do have a website now, right?
Yes. My first professional website ever.
Nice.
Yeah. www.ironheadart.com.
Nice.
Shout out to my manager, Ryan from Omni Art Management, who helped put that all together for me. I'm not the most techie person. Like I grew up playing video games and felt comfortable on computers, but as I got older, I feel like the best thing I could do is control my cell phone at least. Like I'm like trying to do shit on a computer and I get frustrated, bro. So I was really thankful that he was willing to give the time and really put something really sick together. I'm really excited about it. It's on, we use the GoDaddy platform.
Yep. Familiar.
Yes. So I'm just really excited to have it. I had actually my first website sale before I went out of town last week. My homie's wife bought a dress and a tote bag that was on my site. So that was really exciting just to have like the first sale off the website. I felt like that was like a door opening, you know what I mean? So hopefully that allows more people to walk through the door now, metaphysically, I guess. So really stoked about that.
Nice. Yeah. So how was that? How was that first sale feeling? How was it?
Oh, it's incredible. I'm so thankful that anyone would even want to buy my artwork as it is, and I'm feel really blessed and fortunate that since I was like, I guess 18 or so is when I've been started selling my art, even if it was for like 20, 30 bucks, people were still stoked to get it. And I didn't even know I wanted to really, pursue art. Like I just drew my whole life just because it made me happy and it's what I like to do. And I would just keep doing it in class and on my free time. And so many people would just be like, dude, like, this is tight. Like, and after I hearing it enough times, I actually kind of started to believe it. Like, man, this actually is pretty tight. Maybe I should keep doing it. And so I was like, I'm going to keep doing it. I had this like, I think I was like 19 or so when I had this thought. And I was like, I think I'm going to pursue art. Like being an artist would be tight. And so I guess something I started to do to help get it out there was I would make these drawings and I would photocopy them. And then I would sign them to people and I would just give them to people. And it's just like some photocopy and make it TMCC, But some people hit me up, like even recently, like, dude, I still got some of those photocopies you made like 10, 15 years ago. And I'm like, oh man, that's so dope. I don't even have that many of those around anymore. I guess where that kind of idea was inspired from was actually Burning Man. My mom had been going to Burning Man since I was a teenager. And actually, well, before I was I started going when I was a teenager, excuse me. My mom had been going before that. And uh, part of something that people like to do out at Burning Man is gift, because you don't spend money out there. You do a lot of bartering and stuff like that. And I eventually caught on to this idea like, hey, I should make like a Burning Man themed drawing, and I'll just photocopy that shit 100 times or whatever. And so I did that. I'd sign them to people out there. And before I knew it, I was giving these photocopy posters to people like all over the globe. And they were loving them. And all of a sudden I was getting a lot of follows on my Instagram that I had just made. And it just started building. And I was just like, man, like I didn't really think about it, but I already got my art around the world. And I'm just starting, you know? I'm just giving these things out and people are stoked. And so I just kept doing that for years. I even started to do it at like different events around town. And then I guess it kind of evolved into this point with my stickers. Like I like to give out stickers to people and stoke people out. It's kind of like the way I guess I kept that gifting energy flow that I learned at Burning Man going. And now I just do it more professionally with the stickers and stuff.
Right. Nice. So what was one of the, like you have like a psychedelic style to it. There's like you know, like fractal patterns and shit like that. So like what was like an inspiration behind your art and taking that kind of I don't know, that niche or whatever, like going hard on that style?
I got you. So I've had people call my art graffiti fractal art, and which is I think is sick. I grew up on, you know, like I said earlier, I grew up on graph, really inspired by it. I even create kind of similar to how they do it. Like I do like cutbacks at the end, stuff like that, and really inspired from like wild style color schemes. And I guess I started going to Burning Man when I was 16, you know, and I guess probably experimenting with psychedelics out there and looking at different kinds of art and just like being mind blown at what people are capable of creating, you know. And I actually remember there's an artist named Alex Gray. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. My mom used to get me birthday cards from Alex Gray with Burning Man tickets in them for my birthday every year. And I remember, I think it was like my 19th or 20th birthday. It was probably 19, I think. I had gotten a sick birthday card from my mom of Alex Gray, and the piece that was on the card was the net of being. And I just remember thinking it was the sickest piece I'd seen in so long. And I remember trying to draw like a couple pieces. I was in college at the time, like in class, that were kind of looked like it. I still have it to this day. It's in my apartment right now. I'll just send you a picture of it sometime. But I feel like once I looked at that and I was just really stoked on the design that Alex did, I started studying Alex's work a lot more. And I think that heavily inspired me to take the turn that I took as far as becoming a visionary psychedelic artist. Like I'm also called an intuitive painter. Yeah. I just create as I go. I don't really have a design in mind. Like I almost doodle on steroids in a way.
I know what you mean. Yeah. That's dope. That's interesting. So Thanks. It's almost like you're freestyling it
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
nice.
my jam.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you saying something like that. Like, you're like trying to like get a gig for the city and you're like, I don't know how to fucking do this shit like for this, you know?
Yes. It's like they're asking me for a template, like of a design that I'm going to do. And the idea just makes me sweat. Like you're trying to tell me to draw something. I get it. Yeah. But I'm not that kind of artist.
Right.
So when they're trying to ask for me to show them like what I'm going to create, I'm like, I don't know. So I had to do that for the signal box. Yeah. And I ended up just like making a rough sketch. And I just sent them hella pictures so they knew that, oh, this doesn't look this scribbly or this bad, you know? Like he's just shown us a rough sketch and this is what he really does.
Right.
But that tactic hasn't been working for me lately. I've been getting denied a lot of projects lately, I feel like, for the city. But it's okay. I mean, I want to celebrate other artists' success too and make sure that they get out there too. But I would definitely like to do more public art. And I guess something I got to get better at is maybe making templates. Something I was maybe thinking of doing is maybe getting more knowledgeable in Procreate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Procreate.
Yeah, I got Procreate. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it at all. I've never really played with it, but I'm almost wondering if maybe I should take a picture of the mural site and then maybe I could just crop like some of my art off an old piece and just stick it on there, and that'd be a way that I could show it. Or like the template for the box, like maybe I could just like crop a picture of my art and stick it onto that template, and then maybe I can just like try to make the design similar when I actually do it if I get the job.
Right.
That's just something I'm thinking of doing.
Right.
Haven't done it yet, but
that
might be the next thing to try.
Nice. So, you know, I mean, obvious to those that know psychedelic artists and stuff like that. Um, which psychedelics have you tried, and which ones are your favorite?
um, and I've taken mushrooms. I've taken LSD. I've done DMT. I've drinking ayahuasca. I've done ketamine before. I've done pretty much every recreational. To be real.
Peyote or no?
I guess I have done peyote too. I've drinking it as like a tea, but the effects were mild. But yeah, I've
Right.
drinking that a few
What
times.
about what's that other one? Mescaline? Is it?
Mescaline is technically like peyote.
Right.
It's just the compound inside the
Got
cactus.
you. Yeah.
So I mean, that's mescaline. I guess I've drinking like mescaline teas. If I were to pick a favorite one, I really like LSD. If I'm taking like an actual journey, the only thing about it is it's like kind of a lot to sign up for, just because it keeps you up late if you take it at nighttime, I guess. But it just kind of keeps you up for a while. So I feel like I don't really get to do it very often. I like to let the universe just kind of swirl it together, like when it's the right time to partake, I guess, and have it just kind of like happen unconditionally without really the effort, and it just like aligns that it's the time to trip, you know. And
Right.
I feel like when I just got the chills when I said that.
Right.
I feel like when it works out like that, you have the best trips. And like another thing with me too is I don't really believe in bad trips. Like I believe a
Nice.
trip can be really intense and rough,
Yeah.
but I find that those kind of trips honestly can be almost the most beneficial for you,
Right.
because they almost kind of give you a shake or maybe kind of wipe your lenses.
Right.
And, you know, and that might hurt or might feel rough to experience at first, but I feel like that's how you grow.
Right.
And
Totally.
so I really appreciate that. I love microdosing mushrooms. As far as like microdosing, I think
Yeah.
that's been a really helpful tool for me in a lot of different ways.
Same.
So yeah, I mean, I think I believe in all of them. Actually, I guess MDMA is kind of a psychedelic too.
Yeah.
I've heard people call it heart medicine. It's good in therapy because it kind of helps people
Right.
open up their hearts and be able to talk about stuff that's hard to talk about.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. So I really have a strong appreciation and a belief in the healing benefits in all of them. And I feel
Right.
like when they're used correctly, they can be very beneficial. I
Yeah.
feel like people can access the same benefits through other things too. You know, even
Right.
if it's like meditation or just spending time in nature by
Right.
yourself, you know what I mean? Or just having time to yourself, like developing your craft and just focusing, or even just going to therapy. I feel like you can kind of get similar insight, I guess.
Right.
But they're very good tools.
Yeah, I agree. I think I
Even
feel like
cannabis.
yeah, I think you know, just like it should be more focused on like instead of like drugs are bad, it should be like drug education and like
Yeah.
when should you use these drugs or when could they be helpful as opposed to like, you know, oh, LSD's bad or, you know, whatever. You'll have a bad trip, whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I agree with you as well. Like bad trips they're like lessons, if anything. You can still get a lot out of them. They're just, you know, difficult trips.
Yeah, difficult trips definitely is a way to put it.
Yeah, and I don't fuck. I don't know the last time I did some LSD, man, but it was it's been a minute. But yeah, like you said, it's just a lot. Like I don't really get to trip anymore, and it got to the point where my microdosing was macrodosing. Like I just like couldn't fucking handle it no more. Like I just couldn't. I was not responsible enough. I was not being responsible with my microdosing to keep on with it. But I feel like it did help me with like, you know, getting off of other not as good things. You know what I mean? So I do really believe in the medicinal aspect of those substances and stuff like that. Let's see here. Is there like a trip that stands out to you as like one of the best ones you had, or like something that was like maybe, you know, a big thing, like a turning point or anything like that for you?
Sure. I have the first one that came to my mind actually was I think it was last summer or 2 summers ago. So I went to my buddy's mine where I mine these guys at.
Oh yeah, what's that?
This is cool. This is a smoky amethyst that I mined 2 weeks ago. This
that's
is on this
fire.
might be the most spectacular piece in my collection. But I went up there. I've been digging there the last few years, but 2 years ago I went up there and I had a day where I like at the time I felt like I got kind of skunked, and so I was disappointed, you know, because it's expensive to dig up there. It's a gamble. It's literally gambling, but you're just gambling kind of in nature. But I had at the time I felt like I had kind of gotten skunked. And I remember going to Idlewild Park, where is a park that I like to paint at, down by the river. And I was chilling painting down there with a friend, and we ate some mushrooms. And I remember they ended up hitting me so hard that I had to just like lay on my back on the grass, and I couldn't even paint. And I was just laying there taking it in for a minute. And I remember after I kind of calmed down, I got up. I had all the crystals out that I had mined the day before, which was at the mine. And I ended up looking at all these crystals, and I ended up, picking one up that was actually really, really sick. And I ended up, I came to tears because I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm honestly just super thankful that I can even go mine these things, and that I'm so close and that I have access to be able to go do this and the resources. And I felt almost my disappointment turn into gratitude. And I ended up calling my buddy who runs the mine, and I just ended up telling him, I was like, yo, I'm super thankful that I can come dig at this mine with you guys, and that it means a lot to me that he invited me to come dig the next day. And I just was telling him how excited I was to come back up there and roll the dice again, because that's just how it is. You're not harvesting crystals, you're mining.
Yeah.
And so I just ended up feeling really grateful that I was able to mine these things, and that I have a nice collection, and that I'm able to keep growing it. And so I ended up just like turning from tears of disappointment to like tears of just like stokedness and gratitude. And I'm like, if I don't even get anything tomorrow, like, fuck it. Like, I'm stoked that I can just go in the earth and that my body works and I can do this hard ass labor.
Straight up.
And it was really awesome. And I've really tried to hold that perspective as much as I can on just being grateful for what I have. I mean, it's really easy to get caught up in the things you want and the things you don't have yet. But it's almost like when you're grateful for the things you have already, that's when more things come to you. It seems
Straight up.
And so that's something I'm really trying to practice on. It's it's different every day. We go through different experiences every day, but I just try as hard as I can to really just be grateful for what I experience every day. Even if I'm having a hard time, I try to remember that I'm like thankful for my problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you don't have someone else's problems.
Exactly.
They could be way worse than yours.
Exactly.
That's always works for me. It's like, well, try to be great, attitude of gratitude type shit. And, I have, roof, I have food, I have water, I got my kids, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, I have this body I can go mine with and shit like that. Like that's a great way to look at shit,
Yeah.
And speaking of the mining, so like how long have you been doing that? How'd you get into that?
So it's funny, like, I'm so surprised still that when I was a kid, I wasn't into rocks. All kids like rocks. I was not about them. Like, if you would have showed me some crystals as a kid, I'd have been like, eh. And I don't know why. I kind of laugh about it. But I guess what got me into it was making jewelry, wire wrapping. And how I got into that was I had friends that were DJs, and we would always hang out at the club One Up. I don't know if you remember that club on Commercial. And they're like, dude, you should come live paint while we play some sets.
Ooh, nice.
And I was just like, sick. All right, that sounds fun. And of course I'd be nervous or whatever. So I would party to like make up so I wouldn't be nervous anymore, stuff like that. But so I started live painting when I was like 19, 20. And I remember one time when I was down there, this dude named Tynan, he goes by Hidden Gems on Instagram. Shout out to him. He lives in Florida now. But he was the first crystal vendor and the first wire wrapper that I had ever met. And I remember looking at his jewelry when I was live painting that night, and I was just like, whoa, like, dude, those are so sick. I've never seen anything like that. I must learn how to do this.
Nice.
And so right then and there, I was like, I want to learn how to wire wrap. Like, that's some of the coolest shit I've ever seen. And so I started learning how to do it. And as I started buying crystals to make jewelry with, I started getting triggered with the ideas. Oh, I want to go get some of my own, make jewelry out of that, blah, blah, blah. And so I got a book called Rock County, Nevada. It's this little yellow book that you can get at like Stone Age or something. I always tell people to get it if they were trying to get into like hunting rocks. But I got that, and I started going to a bunch of different sites in it. And then I started meeting people that knew of different places to go, and started going to that. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, oh, this is totally for me. I love being outside. I love digging for treasure. Like I was just telling these guys earlier, like it could be fun at any age. You can be knee high, or you could or you can be an old ass man and you could treasure hunt and just be so good, you know. So I guess that's when I started getting into it, and I started getting a lot more serious about it. I actually, like, during around like kind of COVID time, maybe a little bit before. I remember going on furlough out at Tesla, and there was nobody around, so I ended up, like, I was digging like 4 or 5 days out of the week for like a few months straight because I was on furlough, just digging like crazy, and I I was having so much fun doing it. So when I wasn't working, I was just digging mountains and smoking weed in the hills the whole time, and just having a ball,
Yeah.
And I guess towards that summer in quarantine, I had known that my friend Ryan, who cut this stone right here, ran the mine out of Hallelujah Junction. And I ended up reaching out to him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in doing a pay dig. And he ended up getting that arranged, and he booked me to dig in May. And I did my first fee dig. And then ever since then, that was my seventh one that I just did a couple weeks ago.
What's a fee dig?
So you pay them to dig in the mine, and they'll have like heavy equipment that they'll scrape the pit with. So, and they'll have some people like showing you what's up, like what to look for and how to find pockets and stuff like that. So you end up, like, it's an investment, but you end up investing for education,
Right.
and you can score big too. And they take out a lot of the hard labor because, like, they'll have an excavator and they'll just scrape the pits of the wall
Right.
with it, and then you just go in there and pluck the wall and see what you find.
Right.
It's so good. I love it.
What's your typical, like, good day at the mine or whatever when you're
Well, I mean, it can vary. You can get a big abundance of things.
Yeah.
Or you can just get one heater and a bunch of mids, and I've had days where I felt like I had gotten some mids, and then I have other days, where I get this thing, and these guys are telling me this is probably close to a $5,000 crystal.
No way.
And the reason
And you
why,
just found that one 2 weeks ago?
yeah,
Nice.
and this
Hell
because this is called a scepter, and it's the most rare because it's got this stem on
Yeah,
it,
yeah, I see that.
and it grows all the way around, and the scepters are the most rare. Like, you can find like wands and fingers, or you can find like a
Right.
big chunk that's called celestials.
Yeah.
But scepters are the most rare. They need the most time to grow, stuff like that. Like, I have a scepter that's really small, but the color in it is just insane, where it's black, yellow, and purple, and you can just see how the color changes.
Wow.
I mean, it's probably only like this big, but
Right.
they told me back then when I got it, I was probably around $3,000 crystal, and it's just like
Right.
really small,
Yeah.
But
Fire.
so it can vary. Another place I like to dig at is Rainbow Ridge Opal Mines, which is out going towards like the Oregon border in Nevada, the Virgin Valley. I'm digging there in September for the third year,
Nice.
but that's really fun too. That particular mining is a little different. Like, you either can pay for a fresh scoop out of the mine, and they'll take their loader and they'll just go in their mine and dig a scoop and dump it on this table. Then you just go through it because that's how they mine. Like, people are like, "Oh, that's not mining." Well, I mean, that's how the guys mine.
Right, right.
But so you break open these dirt clods and you find these crazy black opal specimens that are just like rainbows in a rock. Straight make you drool
Right.
over stuff like that.
Nice.
But there's other places you can do feed digs at. Like, there's Arkansas, is the quartz capital of the world. I would really like to go out there and do some digging. There's a lot of places in Northern California and Washington,
Right.
stuff like that. I want to try to get around to a lot of different mines.
Nice. Like, what's your favorite kind of rock or whatever that?
Well,
whether you found it or not.
I love Nevada opals. I love smoky amethyst. Like, this is smoky amethyst.
Yeah.
Smoky quartz and amethyst mixed together.
So dope.
I guess I really like this. I like stuff that I can extract myself. I like all rocks, but I've really found a new love for extracting it myself. So I love smokies. There's a lot of smokies around Nevada. There's a lot of amethyst too. So I really like those, and I've been kind of, I guess, learning like metaphysical things with them too. Like, smoky
Right.
quartz is like a good grounding crystal that keeps your thoughts grounded and stuff like
Right.
that. I'm also a Taurus. I'm an earth sign, and so I'm a really grounded dude as it is, and I really like that. I really like my intuition too. I feel like I've been blessed with really good intuition, and even when my massage therapist would hold like a pendulum over my crown chakra, my third eye, it would just be swinging.
Oh,
Like it's
shit.
like hella vibing, you know.
Yeah.
But it's gotten me a lot of insight, I guess. So I really appreciate amethyst for that too, because it helps activate, I guess, the crown chakra more and stuff like that. But I appreciate them all. I like rare minerals too, stuff like that. Like I just like stuff that looks cool, man. Like we got some fluorite like down in kind of like sort of central Nevada where it's just like
Yeah.
straight cubes going off rocks or
Nice.
triangles, and I'm like, that's so tight.
That's dope. So like, do you like charge your crystals or anything like that? You gonna sit like that?
I've never done really that much. I don't think it's weird or anything, but I don't really want to take apart my grid of crystals or my case every month and put them in the moon. Like I have them constantly surrounded by things I love, like whether it's my art or my cats, or my plants, whatever. And I smudge my house, and stuff like that. I always got good vibes in my house, and so I don't really, I guess, do any charging. Like I said, I don't think there's anything weird or any particular reason why I don't do it. I just really don't want to take apart all my case that often and do it because I just don't really feel like I need to. I just got them surrounded by love all the time. But that's just me. Some people who are really into like witchy stuff are probably like, oh, you should do that and stuff like that. But I don't know. They're mine, and I feel like I take care of them how I want to, and they treat me how I want them. You know what I mean? They take care of me, and I take care of them.
Right.
However it is. I don't have to stick them under the moon for them to know that I'm taking care of them.
Totally. So like all the stuff you mine, how much do you think do you always take some of the stuff you mine and turn it into jewelry, or is that like some other thing, or?
Some of them, like I said earlier, I mined this triangle in the center. I mined that specimen. And if it's really that much of a heater, I'll have my buddy Ryan cut it because he'll give you a discount on cutting it if you got it off his mine. So I'll do that. I'd like to learn how to do it eventually. It's just really expensive to get into the craft. It's like I need like 5 or 6 bands just to get all the equipment that I want. So that'll come in time. But I keep the heaters, most of the heaters for myself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'll try to keep a few to the side because I like having a sick crystal inventory too.
Yeah.
Just as another way to make some money. Like,
Yeah.
it also makes my art setup look cool if I got like some ethically sourced crystals that I mine next to my art. Like, just a way I feel like I can kind of stand out compared to some other artists.
Totally.
Stuff like that. So I try to keep some heaters in the inventory too.
Yeah.
The right people will scoop them, but
For sure.
mainly, I just want the vibes in my house to just take care of me so I can create the things I want to create and take care of the things I want to take care of, including myself. Stuff like that. I like my wizard cave. You know what I mean? It makes me, I feel really safe there. You know what I mean? I want to feel inspired and just knowing that I'm grateful to have that and grateful to be there. And my crystals are a big part of that. Like even when that little fire by my house earlier.
Yeah.
And I was thinking if this really got worse, like what are the things I was grabbing? And honestly, the things that I was going to grab was my art, some clothes, my cats, and my crystals. And I was going to be out.
Boom.
Which was a crazy thought to have.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck, like what really means the most to me that I can take? And
Yeah.
I feel like that was really them.
Right. Totally. I feel that, man. So, are you still on the sober thing? Sober living?
Yeah, I mean, I don't drink alcohol anymore, and I no powders. You know, I like to smoke cannabis, and I use psychedelics, like for medicinal purposes.
Right.
But yeah, I used to have an alcohol problem, and I guess I had a powder problem in my 20s too, and they just kind of go hand in hand with each other.
Totally.
And I guess in 2019, I just felt like I was just really becoming more self-aware that this stuff was just not doing anything for me at all, and so I took a strong leap, and I was like, I just got to stop doing them all the way around.
Right.
And so I never went to like rehab or anything. I just said, I'm done. I'm not going to do this shit anymore.
Right.
And kept, I've had some few slip ups, of course, but I feel like the slip ups kind of help you get off of them even more from what I've noticed. Like, I remember I went like 3.5 years without even having a sip of anything alcohol related, stuff like that. And it's kind of weird how sometimes maybe things will trigger you and you feel like cravings to do things, and and I had moments where I had slipped in on these cravings, and then I remember waking up after doing that and just be like, oh, like that's why I don't do this anymore. Like, like stop.
Straight up.
So you're almost thankful for those slip ups because they remind you of why you made that choice. And I feel like it's pushed me even further away from those cravings. I don't really crave that stuff at all anymore. And like, it was kind of weird. I was at this festival this last weekend and I was around, a bunch of hippies in the woods doing hella whippets, you know what I mean? And I seen people doing, a bunch of holding their little spoons and doing blow. And
Yeah.
it was just weird because I'd never really been to a festival like that where I hadn't done any drugs, but I was around so many people that were doing it. And I remember like when I used to do it.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me uncomfortable, but in a good way. Like it just showed me that I had made a lot of progress.
Nice.
And thankful for where I'm at today. I'm not judging anybody for doing those, doing those things.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely had lots of fun doing that kind of stuff, but it just felt good to remind myself how proud I am for actually stepping away from it and wanting to pursue that and continue that.
Right.
I could have gone on a side tangent slightly there, but
no, that's good. I agree 100%. Like when you relapse, you kind of be like, okay, yeah, that I wasn't. Once again, I'm here and I fucking hate it. It's a good reminder to, of why you don't do it. I agree with that 100%.
Something that I think I don't totally. I don't think this is like the complete reason why I was able to quit that stuff, but I really believe that microdosing helped me do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was it obviously wasn't the only thing that helped me do it, but some people ask me like, how has microdosing helped you? And honestly, it took me a long time to even realize how microdosing helped me.
Yeah. So how to help you?
Yeah. And how did it help me was like, I just remember like doing like some reflection after, I don't remember how long it was, but it'd been a while. I'd been doing it for a while, and I did end up doing some self-reflecting and I noticed like, wow, I started just doing a lot of different things. And it wasn't like I had like a light bulb light up over my head and I was like, oh, I got all these ideas of different things I'm going to do. It was like I unconsciously just started doing healthier things and healthier patterns. Like before I knew it, like I was doing cardio, I was working out again, I was paying more attention to what I was eating, I was, thinking of things that were healthy for me, whether I was like getting into gardening or staying with my art,
Right.
being out in nature digging, you know what I mean? I'm going back to exercise and paying attention to my diet, and just doing stuff like that. And I felt like over time, I was like, wow, I'm making a lot of healthier choices. And I didn't really realize I was doing it, but it was almost like the microdosing. It just gets you just a little bit high. But if you do it consistently, you're always almost a little high and you start having different ideas.
Yeah.
But you don't really realize you're having them. You just kind of just start doing it, just starts directing you differently.
Totally.
And so I guess that is one of the things that really helped me become an advocate for psychedelic medicine because I literally watched them help me in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to reflect and see that.
Microdosing also helped me get off the bad things, I was like I said though, like it turned into a lot of macrodosing. So I still have to like I just like realize that I can't do anything really. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't really do anything in at the moment, like maybe at some point I'll be able to like cuz I'll just go the fuck off, man. I'll just be like, "Yep, we're going to take 10 of these microdoses right now." You know what I'm saying? But initially it definitely got me in a mind frame of like I had like a rebirth low key of just like I don't want to be that guy anymore. So that's why like I changed from who I was to bigwig or whatever. But man, that's what's up. I like that. So look, we gonna get into this segment. It's called Cashing Out. So we cashing out with Ironhead Art. Cha-ching, ching, ching, ching. Let's be like applause.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, least favorite word.
My least favorite word. No.
Nice. Fucking hate no, man. Come on, bro.
It was just it was kind of the first word that came to like I like to get the things that I want, but sometimes no is the right thing to hear.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it was kind of a serious joke answer, you feel me? Like
yeah,
I just want what I want, you know what I mean? And I would like it to be yes, but sometimes that's not always the right thing.
Fucking facts. I relate. What's your favorite word?
Love.
Love. Nice.
I don't want nothing but it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't want to give anything but it. I don't want to accept nothing but it. Like, there's a truth about in some things that I participated in. The person that led these things tells us that there's a reminder about ourselves that's true about all of us, and it's that we're a sacred, worthy, luminous being, and we are love, and our love is forgiving, and that's the truth about all of us right here. You know what I mean? Like we are love, and we're here to give it to whoever or whatever it is. And that's what I'm saying. I just don't want anything but that in my life. Life is too short. I don't want anything draining me down. If you don't got love to spread, like, go do what you're doing over there.
Fucking love that. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck. Either fuck or shit, probably. It's funny because they could be used in so many different contexts.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like, sometimes I feel bad for like, you're looking at someone's stuff and you're like, oh, that shit is sick. But some people are like, that's not shit. But some people get it, you know what I mean? Because we're just using the word. So I'd say shit or fuck.
That's awesome. What turns you on?
Say that one more time.
What turns you on?
What turns me on?
Yeah.
Something dope.
Nice.
Whatever it is. Like, either if you say something dope, you do something dope, or you be something dope. I just fucking love that.
Nice. I love that. That's a great answer. What turns you off?
Negativity. Big time.
Major.
Big time. Complaining and negativity, like, I do not want to hear that shit. Like, I get sometimes that shit sucks and we got to vent.
Yeah.
But you just got to let it out, and then that's got to be it. Like, if you just keep dwelling on it, like, it's going to start rubbing off on wherever you're at, and that's not coming from love, man. Like, I don't want that. Get that negativity out of here.
What's your favorite vice?
My favorite vice? Smoking weed, probably. I've been a cannabis dude ever since I was 16. I'm a cannabis connoisseur. I love classic strains. I love to describe like the flavors I get off cannabis. I like to look up what genetics are, what makes what, stuff like that. So I would definitely say cannabis is my favorite vice.
Nice. What's your favorite strain?
I'm a gas head. I love old school like OG Kush. I like I said, I like classic strains. Like, I like Sour D.
Nice.
Gorilla Glue, Chem Dog, Purple Urkel, Skywalker OG. Like, I like the stuff that all the exotics are made from. Like, all the exotics is just like gelato crossed with everything to me. Like, I want the shit that made those. Like, that's the stuff I'm about. Like, Bubba Kush, Irene, stuff like that.
You're taking me back. What about the cheese?
Headband. Cheese? Oh, yeah, I'll fuck with some cheese. Man, I love cheese, whether it's weed or it's actual cheese,
I like all kinds of cheese.
Yeah, I like all kinds of cheese. Even smiles or some money, you know what I mean? Like that shit.
Nice. Do you have a favorite jewelry piece?
Favorite jewelry piece? Yeah. Probably the one I'm wearing right now. This is I'll even take it off. So this is actually a collaboration between me and 3 other guys. So I mined the center crystal, and my friend Ryan cut it, and he also cut this stone below it, which is also from the mine. Yeah. I didn't collect that piece. I built the frame for it, and then my buddy Tony, shout out to Oak Loco Boro up in Canada, made this chain. Sorry, shout out to Ryan Anderson too, who makes these. And then my buddy John, who goes by Vibe King Creations, made this clasp recently. Oh, nice. And was rad enough to finish it up before I went to that festival last weekend. So this piece has a lot of energy into it. I literally, like, it might sound weird, but every time I put it on, I literally feel it, like, going on me. Like, it's a heavy piece, but it's just seriously radiating an energy. Like, even before this clasp got put on there, I actually broke a link, and my buddy was able to put a clasp on it because I was sad I wasn't going to be able to wear it. Right. But when I even just made it before the clasp was on there, as soon as I threw it on for the first time, I hella felt it, man. Like, it. Right. I literally feel like a wizard when I wear this thing. I feel like I can crush anything. Nice. In a good way.
Right. Hey, I love feeling like that too, Something you would change about the world.
Something I would change about the world. I would like to replace a lot of the hate in the world and a lot of the I guess I'm just going to use the word hate and the violence. I would just like to replace it all with love.
Nice. I love that. What song would you play every time you walked into a room? Your theme song, if you would, when you came in.
Man, how about Mafioso by Mac Dre?
Let's go. Shwa, shwana, shwana, shwa, shwa, shwana, shwa. That's what's up. If your exes got together, what complaint would they all agree on?
I love too hard.
That's awesome. I'm blank, and when I wake up, I blank.
I'm a wizard, and when I wake up, I'm magical.
Let's go. Let's go, dog. All right, last one. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Thank you for fulfilling your purpose and spreading the healing love, whether it was through your art, through your crystals, through your medicine. However, like, thank you for fulfilling that purpose. I know you tried your hardest.
Lovely. Right on, man. Well, fucking thank you for coming through. Let's, let people know where they can find you at.
You can find me at ironhead.art on Instagram. I'm very active on there. It's a great place to reach me. You can hit me up on my website too on www.ironheadart.com. I'm also a part of an art collective out of, it's based out of San Diego, but we got different artists across the West called Omni Art. You can find them at Omni Art Management on Instagram too. There's a lot of talented people on there that are worth checking out as well.
Yeah.
I got 2 murals on Virginia Street down by the Arch. They're literally right next to the Arch. I painted the Awful building, and I painted the Horseshoe building next to it. You can see my work down there. I got a signal box that I painted on 3rd and Vine Street down by the Gold and Silver Inn. I'm going to be at the Reno Tahoe International Art Show at the Convention Center in September for the 2nd year. Nice. I'm really excited about that. So I would definitely recommend anyone to come check out that exhibit. There's people all over the country that come to it.
What's the date on that?
It is September 12th through the 15th.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. I think that's all I got on the agenda right now. But if whoever can give me a follow on Instagram, I'm really good about letting people know where my stuff's going to be, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's facts. All right on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Fucking, I think that's it.
Right on. Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Sick.
Good shit.
Right on.